All right, let's dive into something that really gets to the core of a nation's identity. The people who, well, you could say they actually define its soul.
I mean, think about it for a second. What really makes a country what it is? Is it just the lines on a map, its economy, its political system? Or is it something deeper?
You could argue it's the people who capture its spirit, right? The ones who challenge how people see the world, who build its cultural memory from the ground up. And today, we're going to look at how one country, the Philippines, formally recognizes these absolutely essential figures.
So, how exactly does the Philippines celebrate these cultural architects? Well, it's through its highest, most prestigious cultural award, a formal way of acknowledging the incredible impact that art has on the nation.
And you've got to understand, this is so much more than just a prize. It's a huge statement. It's a way of saying that these creators, these artists, are just as fundamental to the nation as any politician or business leader.
So what is this award exactly? It's called the Order of National Artists, and that title alone should tell you just how significant it really is. Let's really break that down. Highest national recognition. This isn't just a friendly pat on the back. This means an artist's entire body of work has fundamentally shaped the country's cultural landscape. It means their art has become part of the nation's very identity.
So let's jump back in time. The award was first established way back in 1972, a really pivotal moment for the country. And the very first person to receive this honor, the legendary painter Fernando Amorsolo, who was actually awarded it after he passed away. Just a year later, the Cultural Center of the Philippines, the CCP, was put in charge of it, which really cemented its place as a top-tier national institution. Now you might be wondering, what kind of art are we talking about here? Is it just for painters? Not even close. The order covers the whole creative spectrum, recognizing genius across 7 distinct categories. And this list is incredible because it shows you the sheer scope of what the country considers its cultural treasures. We're talking about everything, from the composers who write the nation's soundtrack and the dancers who give it rhythm, to the writers who tell its stories and the architects who literally build its world. But how do you actually become a national artist? Well, the criteria are intense. It's not nearly enough to just be good at what you do. Your work has to actively help build a Filipino sense of nationhood. You have to be an innovator, a real trailblazer whose style influences the people who come after you. And of course, you have to be at the absolute peak of your craft and be recognized for it far and wide. So yeah, it's an incredibly high bar to clear.
To really get the weight of this award, you have to look at the legends who hold the title. So let's spend a few minutes exploring the work of some of the titans who've been named national artists.
And there's no better place to start than with the very first honoree himself, Fernando Amorsolo, a true giant of the visual arts.
Amorsolo is famous for these beautiful, sun-drenched paintings of life in the Philippine countryside. His signature move was this incredible backlighting technique, where he'd paint the light behind his subjects. It created this amazing glowing effect that just made his art feel so optimistic and full of life. He literally painted the nation's sunny side.
But art is always evolving, right? It's about revolution, too. And that brings us to Victorio Edades, who came along and took Philippine painting in a totally different direction. I mean, just look at the contrast with Amorsolo. If Amorsolo painted sunlight, Edades painted struggle. He used these dark, heavy, somber colors to show the tough reality of urban life. Factory workers, laborers. He wasn't trying to paint an idealized world. He wanted to show its raw, gritty truth. And by doing that, he kicked off a whole modernist movement in the country.
Okay, moving beyond the canvas, national artists have also shaped the actual physical landscape of the nation through sculpture and design. Guillermo Tolentino is the perfect example. His work isn't just displayed in the nation. His work is the nation, woven right into its fabric. This is the man who designed the official seal of the Republic of the Philippines. He also sculpted the iconic UP Oblation, that famous statue of a man with his arms outstretched that has become such a powerful symbol of sacrifice and freedom. And then you have innovators like Napoleon Abuvea, the father of modern Philippine sculpture. This guy was always experimenting, always pushing boundaries. He even created something called buoyant sculpture, art designed to float and move with the water in a pool. How amazing is that?
Of course, a nation's soul is also built on its stories. And you better believe the order honors the masters who have crafted these narratives, both in words and on the big screen.
In the world of literature, you have to talk about Nick Joaquin. He is widely considered the most important Filipino writer in the English language. He was completely fearless in exploring the complex, messy, beautiful layers of Filipino identity, diving into history and culture in his short stories, novels, and journalism, always asking, who is the Filipino?
And in film, you have Lino Brocka, who gave a voice to the voiceless. His films are these raw, powerful looks at life on the margins of society. He used his camera not just to entertain, but as a tool for social commentary. He forced audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and to see that the story of the marginalized is the story of the nation.
So, after taking a look at these incredible artists, we come back to that big question. Why does this award matter so much? What's its ultimate purpose?
Well, at the end of the day, the Order of National Artists is so much more than just a list of names. It's a living institution. Its goal is to recognize the past, absolutely, but it's also about championing the present by promoting creative expression, and, this is the most important part, lighting a fire for the future. It forges a path for the next generation of artists to follow.
It's a legacy that is still being written every single day. The work of these masters is the foundation, and it leaves us with this final, really inspiring question to think about. The next Amor Solo, the next Joaquin, the next Braca, they're out there right now, creating the art that will one day define their generation. And that's a story that's always worth watching.